the new government, as its first act before the end of last year, took action in order to reduce the gap for this year. And I see that the actions the government is planning are essential and necessary, and fiscal consolidation and structural reforms are complementary, of course, not alternatives. And it's important that Spain will meet its fiscal targets this year in order to achieve its target also next year below 3%. And at the same time, it's very important to maintain this strong momentum of structural reforms, both in the banking sector, as Luis referred to, and also in the labour market in order to reform its institutions and its functioning, because the unemployment of 23% and youth unemployment of 40–45% is something that no society can for long sustain.
Very quickly, Minister Barón, you wanted to address the debt concern as well as growth a moment ago. Please do.
Just a very brief word on this topic. Sur le débat qui existe entre les déficits et la croissance, ce n'est pas l'alternative du diable. Nous n'avons pas d'autre choix que de réduire nos déficits et nos dettes. Donc nous devons le faire selon un calendrier, des étapes, tenir les engagements. Juste un mot sur la France. Nous serons en dessous, par exemple, de nos déficits publics du rendez-vous que nous avions proposé. On devait être à 5,7, nous serons probablement en dessous de 5,5. Et deuxièmement, nous allons travailler sur la croissance en prenant un cheval qui aurait pu être le temps de travail, mais qui sera le coût du travail. Nous allons, au mois de février, baisser le coût du travail et le faire financer sous une autre forme. C'est ça la contribution, par exemple, d'un pays comme la France pour soutenir la croissance. L'Allemagne, qui a de meilleurs résultats, qui est l'excellent élève, sert de référence, peut apporter sa contribution au soutien de la demande sous une autre forme. Chaque pays doit le faire selon la situation économique dans laquelle il se trouve à un instant T.
So is labor reform the most important point on the agenda right now for France?
Quite right this minute.
Yeah. And for Germany? Minister Schäuble?
No, for Germany, I think our most important thing is to look that we have innovations in infrastructure set in place, because we have increasing hesitance in public opinion in investments in increasing infrastructure for communication and so on. That has to be overcome. We have to discuss it. We have to fight for new technologies, because on the basis of our demography, we have to know that we have to stick on innovation. Otherwise, we will not be able in future to stick to the relative level of wealth and social stability we have in Germany. Up to now, we are relatively successful, but we must not think that is granted for the future. We have to stick on this, and therefore it's a European matter. For example, we will work together for something for youth employment, for youth training on a European level. It's quite important. We can have a win-win situation if we make a European market for training young generation and something else.
Minister, it seems like a luxury to be talking about investing in innovation at this very critical time in terms of deficits and austerity put in place.
Now, look, we have in reducing our deficit, we have increased our budget figures for science, for research. You have to concentrate. If you reducing deficit does not mean you cut every expenditure. You have to look where are the investments for future, and therefore we did it, and we will go on to do so, and that's what we do in all European member states and also European level, and that is in the real content of the European Summit on Monday.
We have a question in the back, please. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Anna Maria Corazza Bildt. I'm a member of the European Parliament for Sweden. Last week, we have voted a very clear position, cross political groups, asking in the negotiation of the new treaty to take into consideration, 1, the community approach, 2, that everyone should sit around the table, 27 plus the President of the European Parliament. 3, that European law is respected, which means that the treaty should work in the frame of the Lisbon Treaty. What are you doing in the final stage of the negotiation to take into account the voice of the 500 million people of Europe that we do represent, and not to undermine the common institutions and keep transparency and openness of the decision-making process? Thank you very much.
Who would like to address this? Yes, please, Minister.
I would like to, first of all, I would like to give you the mobile number of David Cameron. Of course. Please, it's not a joke. It would be much better and better to understand for everyone outside of Europe if we would do what we are now to have to do in our fiscal competence in the framework of the European treaties. But that has to be done by anonymous decisions. That is the basic of European treaty. Therefore, we go for a meantime. We go 70 plus. I hope plus 9. Everyone is invited to join, and of course we will make. We are in favor in the treaty to make everyone who signs the treaty. Will take part in the decisions in the treaty, and we will invite the European Parliament to take responsibility. Of course, that is much easier on behalf of the treaties. On the basis, it would be introduced in the treaties. Therefore, on Monday, we agreed in the Eurogroup we will be in favor to implement it in the treaty not only in 5 years, but in 3 years. And that I hope we can convince all our friends in the European Union.
Oli, would you like to add to that?
Well, in fact, I think Wolfgang said the essential, but I want to add one aspect, and I can tell to Anne-Marie that the Commission, by and large, sees eye to eye with the Parliament as regards the reform of the economic governance and this treaty as well. I think it's very important that, and largely thanks to the European Parliament, the community method is fully restored and in fact even reinforced in the new fiscal compact, so that once the new fiscal compact will be agreed on Monday, then the Commission in the coming days will supplement the already existing secondary legislation, the 6 pieces of legislation reinforcing economic governance, which we call the six-pack, and we will make concrete proposals so that while the treaty is a very important political commitment, at the same time its concrete and practical implementation will be done through the secondary legislation, which means precisely through the community method, which is the method that makes the European Union to work and to deliver results.
We would like to take more questions, but we also want to keep you on time. So I'd like to thank this distinguished panel and thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for the next session.
Okay.